With the political madness of recent weeks' closure and retaliation, incitement and accusation, it is easy to forget that the new Congress should really govern projects to present candidates to consider and, for Democrats in the House of Representatives in particular, supervision of power executive to be held. Greater supervision. Trying to maintain this government will be one of the most important duties loaded with the new Democrat majority, especially after 2 years of repressed Republicans who let the president operate without control. The White House may never have demonstrated more strongly the need for a compensation force to control corruption and incompetence, its contempt for the Constitution and its aggression against democratic standards. But precisely because there are many legitimate avenues of research, Democrats must proceed with caution to avoid looking at you are amassing a punitive or extremely partisan way. While many Democrats and not a few Republicans who oppose Trump would surely be pleased to see the president subjected to daily torture investigation, Democrats in the House of Representatives cannot afford to alienate independents and swing needed voters to send him in 2020. A new Washington Post ABC News poll shows that a plurality of independent and expects the new majority in the House to overstate its oversight, and even some Democratic lawmakers have voiced concern. Representative John Yarmouth of Kentucky, the new chair of the Budget Committee, recently joked that Congress would have to build an air traffic control tower to keep track of all quotes flying from here to the White House. Eager to feed this perception, the Trump team has been slandering Democrats as part of a campaign of presidential harassment. It is the movement of the president's signature to attack anyone or anything that he, the media, the courts dislike, the electoral process, enough useless. Republicans, its own Department of Justice, science, to undermine its legitimacy in the eyes of its base. Democrats insist they understand the risks. Conference leaders and key committee members have been preparing to take over supervision since the early months of Mr. Trump's tenure. They have held weekly strategy meetings to chart a course of investigation focused less on the president's personal sins than the damage caused by the atrocious policies of his administration and operational instability. To avoid free inquiry for all, Democrats decided from the outset that they should prioritize their investigations within a basic narrative structure of how bad behavior X endangering the health and safety of our democracy or the American people. The list of consultations includes management's response to Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. Its decisions do not defend Obamacare pre-existing conditions and undermine the program by depriving it of funds. Its policy of separating migrant families from the southern border and their retreat from environmental protections. Other key areas of research are if former Interior Secretary Ryan Zink personally benefits from the decisions he made in the office, if Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross lied to Congress about his efforts to add a question about citizenship to a new census, and almost all decisions made so far by Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos. Such potential mismanagement may not be as busy as, for example, to explore whether Mr. Trump paid money secretly to the old lovers or the taxes paid by a few $100 million. But it has a specific impact on the health and well-being of the public. That's not to say that Mr. Trump received a pass on his personal behavior, simply that Democrats will try to keep focus on the big picture. For example, Trump's continued refusal to release his tax returns as part of his family's incomplete financial affairs, raising serious questions about everything from violations of fees to inappropriate relationships with foreign interests. The crucial question is not whether the president violated the law, but whether he sold the nation for personal gain. That said, Democrats say they plan to leave the Russian excavation largely for Robert Mueller. They are aware that interfering in some way in the special lawyer's investigation could undermine their efforts as much as theirs. With a large Democrat party in the House of Representatives, and this has continued, it can be difficult to keep members in the message. But Democratic leaders have been working since the beginning of 2017 to implement processes that maximize order and unity. Committee leaders coordinate their investigations to present a united front and avoid stepping on the toes. Leadership has been aggressively pushing the message that the most effective way to rank-and-file members proceed to possible crimes of the administration is working with key members of the relevant committees. Inevitably, individual members will become cheaters from time to time. Representative Al Green would join the crusade to challenge mega-donor Democratic Tom Steyer, despite the party leadership's commitment to steer clear of the word "I" for now. And the so-called vulgar freshman Representative Rashida Tlaib to accuse the president's complacency sparked outrage among Republicans and handshakes among some of his fellow Democrats. Democrats seek to remain sufficiently disciplined with their oversight mission to convey a sense of order amid chaos. This week, Republican Doug Collins of Georgia, the Republican bench leader on the House Judiciary Committee, publicly praised New York Democrat President Gerald Nadler for opening a new era of bipartisanship with its restricted use of citations and their commitment to an unprecedented level of transparency. In addition, Republican Jim Jordan of Ohio, the Republican leader on the House Reform and Supervisory Committee, praised Committee Chairman Elijah Cummings' promise to deal with quotes in a collaborative way. It's a promising start.